Upon entering their compound, Uche was met with the shock of her life. As she was climbing the ladder of success in the city, things have fallen apart for her two sisters in Igbora village. There lived a woman named Bukola. She was a widow left by her poor husband who died when her 3 daughters were young. Bukola sells food in the village square and managed to raise her 3 daughters into the most beautiful damsels in Igbora village. Upon seeing how beautiful her daughters were, Bukola became greedy and vowed not to marry her daughters off to poor men. She boasts that a mother who has beautiful daughters is like a goat farmer. He has the full ability to choose who he sells his goat to. Growing up, Bola and Tola, Bukola's first 2 daughters, were taught how to use their beauty to lure rich men to spend money on them. They became just like their mother, never respecting anyone except the rich and only associated with men who were able and willing to spend money on them. Bola was Bukola's most favorite because she has mastered the act of seducing rich men and never spare a glance the way of poor suitors. She always brought home expensive gifts and money to Bukola. Tola was no different from her elder sister Bola. She also shares the same ideology with her sister and mother, that it is only a foolish woman that will grow up poor and beautiful, yet marry into a poor family. To them, a beautiful woman only stays poor if she wishes to, as she can use her beauty to pave way for a better future. On the other hand, Uche, the youngest daughter, was a very patient and down-to-earth lady. She does not see wealth as the only symbol of success in life. Uche was almost always at home doing chores, which she prefers to do than follow her mother to the food stall and be forced to mingle with men. Bukola's 3 daughters only went as far as attaining primary school certificate in the village's government school, after which Bukola stopped them from furthering their education. She believes it is a waste of time and money to allow them go to school when she can groom them into becoming perfect housewives for wealthy husbands. She always chanted the mantra, "Why suffer your brain when your body can speak for you from a distance?" Uche has always wanted to study further but do not have the means to do so. She later met Connor, a COP member who came to Igbora village to serve. Connor barely has his monthly allowance to manage, so he was not able to give Uche gifts or money to take to her mother. Due to this, Bukola despised Connor and called him names. Bukola and her 2 eldest daughters made Uche's life miserable at home. She was made to do all chores and only gets to eat after Bola and Tola have eaten because they brought home part of the money used to buy the foodstuffs. They taunted her that she does not know her worth. That was why she wasn't using her beauty to get money from rich men, but stayed faithful to poor Connor. Their attitude towards Uche never discouraged her from dreaming to become someone recognized for who she was and not some rich man's accessory. Uche believed that the patient dog always eats the fattest bone. Uche's hobby was making dresses right from when she was young. Growing up, she liked to visit the village seamstress Ayabo's shop, and from mere observation from a distance and practice on paper dresses at home, she gradually learned how to sew clothes she could comfortably wear. Uche once begged her mother to buy her a sewing machine to start tailoring with the promise of returning back the money gradually as she earns from the business, but Bukola refused, saying she cannot risk the money she got from her beautiful daughters on a patching business. Uche was very sad and wondered if by chance she was adopted. She started doubting whether she was not Bukola's biological daughter. "You are my biological daughter, Uche. I carried you for 9 months and 7 days in my womb and suffered labor to bring you to this world, but you do not follow my ways or do as I say. I myself at times wonder if Ayabo did not use jazz on you, because you are more of her daughter than mine. I am only treating you this way to make you change, and not because I do not love you." Bukola replied calmly, hoping to put some sense into her daughter's head. Uche felt sorry for her mother and sisters, and prayed they do not learn their lesson the hard way. Some years later, Bola got married to a rich sugar daddy. Tola also married Ao, the son of a wealthy man who owns many filling stations and managed one of them for his father. Bukola became more arrogant, only associated with women in her cycle. She stopped selling food at the village square and spent the money she gets from her daughters and in-laws lavishly. One elderly rich man from a neighboring village came to Bukola to ask for Uche's hand in marriage. Bukola was very happy about that and started planning how grand a wedding she is going to throw for her youngest daughter, only to be disappointed by Uche, who turned down the offer and adamantly refused marrying any other man except her lover, Connor. Bukola was very angry, and in the moment of anger told her daughter to either agree to the marriage with the old man or relieve her from embarrassment by leaving the village. Uche was courageous enough to finally decide to take her future into her own hands. She left Igbura village in pursuit of a career in fashion and designing in the city, hoping she would one day be able to afford to continue her education with the money she earns from her business. With the little he was earning as an intern, Connor supported Uche to open a shop, which gradually started gaining recognition due to her talent and kindness to all her customers irrespective of their financial status. Connor later got a job in a big company, and his side business also flourished. Uche's fashion shop became the go-to shop for all celebrities and wealthy women. She was able to expand the business and hired other talented designers to work for her. She used that opportunity to study at extra lessons and wrote SSC exams, which she passed with flying colors. She aspired to study fashion and designing to perfect her skills, and hopefully one day, become an icon in the fashion industry. Connor and Uche were ready to settle down and start a family, so they returned to Igbura village for their marriage ceremony, after exactly 2 years of Uche's unplanned departure. Upon entering their compound, Uche was met with the shock of her life. As she was climbing the ladder of success in the city, things have fallen apart for her 2 sisters in Igbura village. Uche saw her 2 sisters have returned back home, both pregnant, looking sad and dejected. Bukola now treats them harshly for being forced to cater for 2 completely dependent pregnant women who ran away from their husbands' houses. Uche was very sad to hear what happened to her sisters. Bola's husband, a 50-year-old man, actually hid the fact that he had 2 cunning wives and 8 children. She later learned about them when he took her out of the private house she was initially staying, to his family house so that he can bring in a 4th younger wife. Bola became just another of his wives, left at the mercy of 2 wicked women who made her life miserable. Tola also found out that Ao lied to her about being a rich man's son. He was only a distant relative employed as a fuel dispenser in the filling station. He managed to spend money on Tola by stealing money from his employer, who later found out and sacked him few months after their marriage. When confronted, Ao nonchalantly replied that he had to lie because he fell in love with Tola at first sight and wanted to propose to her, but he got the information that she does not talk to poor suitors, talk less of agreeing to marry one. Tola asked him to divorce her, but Ao refused because he still loves her and moreover, she was carrying his child. Both Bola and Tola ran back to their mother's house. Uche consoled her mother, who has now lost face in the village and is unable to even go to the market without being gossiped at for having 2 pregnant daughters sent back from their husbands' houses. She calmly explained to them how their bad choices in the past caused their misfortune in the future. She advised them to return to their husbands' houses and patiently raise their children with their fathers. Uche also promised to help them with some finances to start a small business. Bukola and her 2 eldest daughters thanked Uche immensely, regretting the way they viewed life and how they maltreated her when she was actually the one on the right path. After Uche and Connor's wedding, the newlywed went back to the city and lived happily ever after, vowing to support each other through thick and thin.